Dreamweaver includes a number of features that make it easy to share your website with the World Wide Web. When you're done creating your pages, just choose Site, Manage Sites, and very similar to the initial site setup process, you want to edit the site you've already set up, and this time you want to select the Remote Info category. Under the Access option, you'll find a number of ways you can publish a website. If you're working at a big university or a big corporation, you may be able to use the local network to do the publishing. If you run your own server, this may also work. If you're using very advanced development techniques, you might need WebDAV or RDS. But if you're using a commercial service provider, a web hosting service like most of the commercial sites out there, FTP is the option for you. FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol, and it's a relatively simple technology that enables you to move or copy files from one computer to another. In this case, I'm going to be copying files from my local hard drive, where I've been building this website, to a commercial service provider where I want to host it on the World Wide Web. The first thing you'll need to do is to check with your service provider for the information I'm about to enter here. I can't possibly tell you what you need to access your web server, but you should get that from your system administrator, or you may find it in the documentation you've gotten from your service provider. As a general rule, it should look something like what I'm about to enter here. Under FTP host, you'll usually enter something like ftp.domainname.com. Now, you may be wondering why I'm typing ftp.techietranslator.com. Robin Eschner's site actually lives at the domain name robineschner.com. But for the purposes of this lesson, I decided not to let you inside her commercial service provider and instead to take you to a testing site that I've set up for myself. So techietranslator.com is actually a domain name that I own and I use as a testing site at the moment. Someday you may see something else there, but for now, assume that I would have typed ftp.robineschner.com if I were actually sending this to her server. The host directory depends completely on the way your web server is set up, and you don't have to enter a directory here, but if you don't, you'll be brought to the top level of your hosting service. And in general, you're going to want to transfer your files into a subdirectory where all of the public files on your server should be hosted. The way my server is set up, that public file is the same as the name of the domain name. So typing /techietranslator.com is going to bring me right into the directory where I want to transfer my web files. On your server, it might be something like /webpages/public or /http files or any variation on that theme. But what you're looking for is the path to the actual directory where the public files should go. And most commercial service providers, when they set up your hosting system, will give you a directory that also includes folders that are not public. And if you don't enter a host directory here, you'll just go to that top level. The login is pretty standard. Whatever your login ID is. And of course, when you type in the password, you'll only see bullets, even on your own system. All of the options here depend completely on your service provider, and you'll have to check with them. But for many service providers, you can just leave all of those options unchecked. Synchronization is a handy feature in Dreamweaver because it enables you to quickly identify the most recently changed files, so that if after you've uploaded your entire site, you change a couple of pages and you want to just upload the pages that you've changed, synchronization will help you identify those. I'm going to leave this checked and show you in a moment how that works. The option to automatically upload files to your server as soon as you save them, I don't recommend. Because then, as soon as you save a page, it's going to get sent to your server. I like to have a second chance to test and double-check everything on my local computer before I transfer things to my server, so I prefer to leave that unchecked. If you know that you want to send things up quickly, and as soon as you're done, have them automatically FTP'd to your server, then you might want to check this. The last option here is the check-in, check-out feature that I mentioned. You only want to check this if you're working with a team of developers and you want to keep track of who might have checked out a file so that you don't overwrite each other's work. It's a great feature for managing team development of a website, but it can slow things down a little bit in Dreamweaver, so I generally recommend that you only check this if you want these features available. When you get everything set up the way you want, You can use the Test button to make sure that it works, or you can simply click OK. Refresh the cache, and we're ready to connect to our server and upload some files.